There's been a reoccurring question that I've seen these last few weeks, and definitely more often now since we're at the tail end of the Farron crossover. Who is the next big thing to go for after Farron? If you haven't been following Grand Summoners, or you're kind of just coming into the game, I can see why you would question that, because for some of us, we know what pretty much every single unit release is, or who's going to be coming out that we really want to look for. Just as a pretext of this video, there's really not a wrong answer when it comes to summoning for the future Ascended characters, since the way how Ascended characters are made, there's rarely ever a bad one. Now, there is a bad one, don't get me wrong, there's definitely a bad one there, but for the most part, every single Ascended unit that will come out is gonna have some kind of use for you. However, there are a few that I would highly recommend to keep your eye out for. Since a lot of you probably came into this game from a crossover, why not we talk about the future crossovers? The next crossover that will be out on Global should be Magical Index. Magical Index features 4 characters: Railgun, Toma, Accelerator, and Index. But if I had to pick just one, I would say Toma is going to be your best bet for a lot of different players, since Toma is a taunt tank, and if you don't have a taunt tank or a way to mitigate damage in any way, this is the perfect time for you to pick up someone like that. His kit's very fun. Every time he uses art, it scales, and it makes his super art hit harder, which is great. He's also really strong against any kind of magic fight, since he has that innate 35% magic res, and he has a true weapon that's also really good. Make sure you pick that up on him if you get him. I will say there's a runner-up here that if you are someone who really loves Mono Light and you're trying to build a Mono Light team, try to pick up Railgun if you can. She's ridiculous. Let's stay on the topic of crossovers for a little bit longer, because this information just came hot off the press. Kill la Kill is returning in the Japanese version of Grand Summoners, meaning that it's only a matter of time before it releases in Grand Summoners Global again. With Kill la Kill returning, they're not adding any new unit, unfortunately, but that does mean that everybody who missed the original releases of these characters can get them again. This is going to be very good if you missed any of these units the first time around, or if you've never been a part of this crossover, because you have very strong Awoken characters here. Literally all of them are good, especially Mako, and you have access to the Ascended lineup, and the Ascended lineup is very beefy with this one. You have Gamagori, which is another taunt tank, and he's a very fun one at that. You have Uzu, which is one of the kings of damage, and then you have Hoka, which allows characters like Uzu and many others to get that ridiculous damage number. Hoka is hands down the best support unit that we have in the game right now, and I really say that because not only is he just a very strong support option, but he's also extremely limited. He doesn't come back with the Hero Fest, he only comes back when Kill la Kill comes back, and Kill la Kill isn't always guaranteed to come back. Well, I say that, but it's came back like 7 or 8 times at this point, but this may be the last time. Out of everyone in this crossover, the one that you should hard pity or absolutely get above all else, and possibly the highest priority unit in this entire video, will be Hoka. If you have watched any of my showcase videos over the last year and a half, you have probably seen Hoka pop up more times than you can count. Now that's actually it for all the crossover characters. Surprising, I know. Only 2 that we know of right now. By the time this video comes out, it's gonna be like 2 months go by and we have a new crossover, Berserk, and Guts comes out and he's one of the most broken units we've ever seen. But GS isn't only a crossover game, even though a lot of us will argue that it is. There are GS original characters that are going to be coming out over the next 6 months to a year that are absolutely noteworthy. Sword God Luan is a very fun unit, and if you're somebody who kind of likes the Mono Dark team, especially some of the variety we've gotten recently with Mono Dark, Sword God Luan's gonna be a perfect character for you. He's all about having different races on your team, and if you have different races, it buffs up his super crit and his crit duration for longer. And by the way, he gives this crit rate, not the super crit, just the crit rate buff to the whole team. If you have Sword God Luan, who's a god, and let's say you run Shadow for an example, who's a human, and he also archgens for your entire dark team. And then you run someone like Natasha, which is another character that comes out later on, very strong damage mitigation character here that's also offering a bit of damage ups as well. And then you cap that bad boy off with either a Halloween Forte, or you use like whoever else you want in that last slot. It could be an Archgener, it could be a demon, it could be literally anybody. It doesn't matter if it's a duplicate race or not. Since you're already at a pretty lengthy duration on that crit rate, you throw whoever you want to in that last slot, and boom, you have a crazy looking dark team with really good damage, very good DR, and a lot of flashiness with that team, because Sword God Luan really has that sauce. Following Sword God Luan though, Mono Light gets a few additions that are just ridiculous, like Phantom Sanctus Platina, best breaker we've ever seen. seen. Stackable break res, and if the boss is broken and you use the skill, you get 200 arc gauge every single time you use that skill. She's incredible. She's very good. If you need a breaker, go for Platina and never look back. Orville D was the anniversary unit in JP. I don't know if he's going to be the anniversary unit for Global this time around, since they always throw these things everywhere. It's very possible that if we're on track with Destroy chapters and everything, Orville could be the Christmas unit this time around. Now, the way how Orville works is that he's very similar to that of Fire Orville or his sister Light Sistina, where he has a super equip, which for him, he activates it by using his super art. Once you activate his super art, you get this crazy new equip, and this equip, every time you use it, gives your entire team 20 arc gauge. Now, not only does this equip give your team 20 arc gauge, it also has a 20,000% multiplier. It's generating a ton of BE. If you don't know what BE is, it's these balls right here. Battle Ether is what their actual name is. When these BE orbs pop up, they're gonna fly into your units at random, and depending on who they go into, they give them arc gauge. I think it's like 10 or 20 that they give per each orb that a unit takes. The higher multiplier an equip has, like Orville's super equip, the more BE that you can generate. Of course, certain bosses have different BE values, and some bosses allow you to generate more BE against them compared to others. Either way though, Orville's going to be giving you even more arc gauge with his equip than just the flat 20 thanks to the BE. On top of this as well, Orville's going to be an extremely hard hitter if you have him on mono light, since he has a stackable damage buff that he has based on the amount of light units on his team. Or if you want to throw a few fire units in there, he gets better arch gen. As for the final two characters I want to talk about, these are going to be coming from events, and one of them is actually the flagship unit for the new saga that we'll eventually get, which is Meena Soars High, aka Meena. Meena is a fire unit that is all about resetting her equips. If you use her art, it resets her final equip slot. If you use her true art, it's going to refresh her defense slot. And if you've used your super art an odd number of times, it will refresh your physical equip slot. All this stuff sounds really good, but she has a lot of stuff in the kit that makes her hit insanely hard. She's also a spirit. That means that she cannot be countered by any boss or any fight that locks out human gods or demons. And the final character, which I think a lot of you guys have seen this coming, but if you are someone that loves Monolight, that you gotta have someone else, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to your final piece of Exodia. Young Emperor. Young Emperor is going to be a unit that is all about buffing up your light damage and even giving you some additional stats. To mention, this man's slots are incredible, and he also has the thing where at the start of battle, not at the start of quest, at the start of battle, he gives his entire team 30 arts. One of the best characters you can get for your mono light setup, and if you're going for a mono light team, you gotta pick up Young Imp. But ladies and gentlemen, that's actually it for all the characters that I recommend you save for. I know I mentioned quite a few units because I wanted to give you guys a lot of options, not just like, oh, only 2 or 3 characters. So you could really make up your own teams and see who you want. Oh, another little bonus tip, since these guys aren't going to be newer characters and they will be returning characters if they show up on a banner in the future, if you ever see War God Finn or Holy Knight Roy pop up, highly recommend you go for them. They're some of the best units in the game. If you guys have any units that you would like to add to this, or if you want to show off who you're saving for, leave it all down below in the comment section. If you enjoyed this video though, I highly recommend you check out this video popping on the screen right now. It talks about some of the top mistakes new players make. Whether you're old or brand new, this video is going to be pretty good for you. Click on that and I'll meet you over there. But before you leave, don't forget to drink water.